There is a white powder available at every grocery store for under $2 that dissolves limescale completely in 30 minutes. In kettles, in coffee machines, in washing machines, in shower heads, and in any appliance or fixture where hard water deposits accumulate. It is citric acid, the same compound that makes lemons sour, the same compound listed as an ingredient in dozens of food products, and it is the active ingredient in the majority of commercial descaling products, sold at prices representing a markup of 3,000% over the cost of the raw compound. Keurig's official Descaler costs approximately $15 per use. Calgon water softener tablets cost $8 to $12 per pack. The descaling solutions sold by coffee machine manufacturers, DeLonghi, Nespresso, Breville, cost $12 to $20 per bottle. Every one of these products contains citric acid, acetic acid, or both as the active descaling compound, combined with water and small amounts of stabilizers and occasionally fragrance, in packaging designed to obscure the connection between the product and its $2 grocery store equivalent. The descaling product market generates approximately $500 million per year in the United States. The limescale problem it addresses is real. Calcium carbonate deposits from hard water reduce appliance efficiency, damage heating elements, and shorten the service life of every appliance that heats water. The solution is a dilute acid. Citric acid is the most appropriate dilute acid for this application. It costs 30 cents per treatment. This is the story of what limescale actually is, why citric acid dissolves it, what the commercial products actually contain, and why the grocery store checkout aisle is more useful for appliance maintenance than the descaling product section at the hardware store. Limescale is calcium carbonate, KCO3, the same mineral that forms limestone, marble, and chalk. It deposits on surfaces in contact with hard water through a straightforward chemical process. Hard water contains dissolved calcium and magnesium bicarbonate, compounds that enter the water as it passes through calcium-rich geology. These bicarbonate compounds are soluble at cold temperatures and at the carbon dioxide concentrations present in groundwater. When the water is heated, or when it evaporates, carbon dioxide is released and the equilibrium shifts. The bicarbonate compounds become insoluble carbonate compounds and precipitate out of solution as a white, chalky solid that adheres strongly to whatever surface the water was in contact with. The heating element in a kettle or coffee machine is the primary site of limescale accumulation. It is where the water temperature rises most sharply, where carbon dioxide release is most rapid, and where the precipitation of calcium carbonate is most concentrated. A heating element coated in limescale operates less efficiently because calcium carbonate is a poor conductor of heat. It insulates the element from the water, requiring more energy to heat the water and causing the element to run hotter than designed, accelerating both energy consumption and element degradation. In shower heads and tap aerators, limescale restricts flow by progressively blocking the small openings through which water passes. In washing machines, it deposits on the drum, the heating element, and the internal piping, reducing efficiency and eventually causing failures. In dishwashers, it deposits on the spray arms and heating element, producing the white haze on glassware that most people attribute to detergent residue. The chemistry of descaling follows directly from the chemistry of limescale formation. Calcium carbonate is a carbonate salt, a compound formed from calcium ions and carbonate ions. Carbonate salts react with acids to produce calcium salt of the acid, water, and carbon dioxide gas. The reaction is visible. The fizzing that occurs when an acid contacts limescale is the carbon dioxide being released as the carbonate is converted. The acid must be strong enough to dissolve calcium carbonate at useful concentrations, weak enough not to damage the materials in contact with it, stainless steel, plastic, rubber seals, and ideally food-safe, since it will contact surfaces that food and beverages also contact. Citric acid meets all three criteria. It is a tricarboxylic acid with sufficient strength to dissolve calcium carbonate effectively at concentrations of 1 to 2%. The concentration achievable by dissolving 1 to 2 tablespoons of food-grade citric acid powder in a liter of water. It is mild enough at these concentrations not to damage stainless steel, most plastics, or rubber seals used in water heating appliances. And it is a food-grade compound, classified as GRAS by the FDA, that is safe in contact with surfaces used for food and beverage preparation. The reaction between citric acid and calcium carbonate produces calcium citrate, a water-soluble salt, water, and carbon dioxide. The calcium carbonate dissolves completely. The calcium citrate rinses away with the water, and no residue remains on the descaled surface. The commercial descaling products on the market contain exactly this chemistry: citric acid, acetic acid, or both, with varying degrees of transparency about their active ingredients. Keurig's descaling solution lists citric acid and water as its primary components. The product is sold in a 32-ounce bottle that produces 2 uses at 16 ounces per use. The cost is approximately $15 per bottle, $7.50 per use. Citric acid powder costs approximately $3 to $4 per pound at grocery stores. 1 tablespoon, approximately 15 grams, of citric acid powder dissolved in a liter of water provides a comparable descaling solution for approximately 5 to 8 cents. The price differential, $7.50 per use versus 5 cents per use, represents a markup of approximately 1,500 to 1,800%. The active chemistry is identical. The Keurig brand Descaler is water and citric acid in a bottle with a Keurig label and a price that reflects the brand licensing and the consumer's inability to identify the active ingredient. Calgon water softener tablets, marketed as a washing machine descaler and water softener, contain sodium polyphosphate as their primary active ingredient in some formulations and citric acid in others, depending on the product version and market. The sodium polyphosphate works differently from citric acid. It sequesters calcium ions rather than dissolving existing deposits, and is more appropriate as a preventive treatment than as a removal treatment for established limescale. For established limescale deposits in washing machines, citric acid run through a hot empty cycle is more effective. DeLonghi, Nespresso, and Breville all sell proprietary descalers that warn against using third-party descaling products, citing warranty concerns. These warnings are commercially motivated. The manufacturers sell high-margin proprietary descalers and have a financial interest in maintaining the proprietary market. The chemistry required to descale their machines is the same chemistry that citric acid provides. Using citric acid solution does not damage the machines and does not technically void warranties in most jurisdictions where warranty law prohibits tying warranty to the use of manufacturer-branded accessories. The practical application of citric acid for descaling different appliances requires slightly different concentrations and procedures for each type. For kettles, the standard treatment is 1 to 2 tablespoons of citric acid powder dissolved in a full kettle of water, approximately 1 liter. Bring to boil, allow to sit for 20 to 30 minutes, then empty and rinse thoroughly with 2 to 3 cycles of fresh water. The limescale will visibly dissolve during the soaking period. The water will turn white or milky as calcium citrate dissolves into solution, and the fizzing indicates active reaction with the calcium carbonate. For drip coffee machines, dissolve 1 tablespoon of citric acid in 1 liter of water and run this solution through the machine in place of water without a filter or coffee grounds. Allow the machine to complete its full cycle. Allow the solution to sit in the carafe for 15 to 20 minutes after brewing, then run 2 to 3 cycles of fresh clean water through the machine to rinse. The internal components, the water reservoir, the heating element, the tubing, will be descaled by the citric acid solution passing through them. For pod coffee machines, Keurig, Nespresso, and similar, the same citric acid solution can be run through the machine using its descaling mode or its standard brewing mode. Follow the machine's descaling mode instructions for cycle count and timing, replacing the manufacturer's descaling solution with citric acid solution at the same concentration as above. For shower heads with visible limescale blocking the spray holes, the most effective treatment is immersion. Fill a plastic bag with citric acid solution, 2 tablespoons per liter, and secure it around the shower head with a rubber band so the head is submerged in the solution. Leave for 1 to 4 hours. The limescale blocking the spray holes will dissolve, restoring full flow. For shower heads that can be easily removed, soaking in a bowl of citric acid solution is more effective and allows more complete contact. For washing machines, the standard treatment is to run an empty hot cycle, the hottest setting available, with 2 to 3 tablespoons of citric acid dissolved in a liter of water added to the drum at the start of the cycle. The hot water activates the citric acid and circulates it through the internal components: the drum, the heating element, the pump, the internal hoses, descaling all of them in a single cycle. Run an additional rinse cycle afterward to ensure all the citric acid solution is cleared. For dishwashers, place a bowl containing 2 to 3 tablespoons of citric acid powder on the bottom rack and run a hot, empty cycle. The citric acid dissolves and circulates through the machine, descaling the spray arms, the heating element, and the internal components. The glassware haze that most people attribute to detergent, which is actually limescale deposited on glass surfaces, is addressed by this treatment, and regular monthly descaling of the dishwasher maintains glassware clarity. The market structure that allows commercial descalers to maintain their price premium despite the ready availability of the active ingredient at a fraction of the cost follows the same pattern as the rest of the cleaning product industry. Appliance manufacturers sell proprietary descalers at premium prices and warn against alternatives using language about warranty voidance and appliance damage. These warnings are not primarily motivated by technical concerns. Citric acid is appropriate for these applications, but by the financial interest in maintaining captive high-margin product sales. The grocery store presents citric acid as a food ingredient, a baking and preserving compound, without any connection to appliance maintenance. The hardware store presents commercial descalers in dedicated packaging with appliance-specific marketing. The consumer standing in front of the descaling product display does not see citric acid as an option because citric acid is in a different section of a different store, with no labeling connecting it to descaling. Citric acid has no advertising budget for appliance descaling. The companies selling branded descalers at $15 per use do. The information gap is maintained not by suppression, but by the complete absence of communication at the retail level about what the active ingredient in the premium product is and where else it can be purchased. Here is the synthesis. Limescale is calcium carbonate deposited by hard water on heating elements, pipes, and fixtures. It reduces appliance efficiency, damages heating elements, and shortens appliance service life. The solution is a dilute acid that reacts with calcium carbonate to produce water-soluble calcium salt and carbon dioxide. Citric acid at 1 to 2% concentration, 1 to 2 tablespoons per liter of water, dissolves limescale completely, is food safe, does not damage appliance materials, and is available at grocery stores for under $2 per pound. 1 tablespoon per treatment costs 5 to 8 cents. Commercial descalers, Keurig, Calgon, DeLonghi, Nespresso, contain citric acid or acetic acid as their active ingredient and cost $5 to $15 per use. The markup over the cost of the active ingredient is 1,500 to 3,000%. The descaling performance is identical. Monthly citric acid treatment of water heating appliances, kettles, coffee machines, washing machines, dishwashers prevents the limescale accumulation that causes premature appliance failure. The cost is approximately $1 per year across all household appliances. The commercial alternative is $50 to $100 per year for the same result. The calcium carbonate does not know the brand of the acid that dissolves it. It responds to hydrogen ions. Citric acid provides them. Keurig's Descaler provides the same hydrogen ions in the same concentration at 150 times the cost. If this changed how you think about the descaling products under your sink, hit the like button. Share it with someone who has been buying the Keurig Descaler every few months, and subscribe for more of what the industry prefers you never figure out. See you in the next one.